Most people believe credit card debt only becomes dangerous when you stop paying your bills, when accounts go into default, or when collectors start calling. But the real danger begins much earlier, when everything still looks normal. Most Americans are unknowingly drowning in credit card debt. Discover the hidden traps banks want you to see. That was the contradiction I didn't understand when my balance quietly crossed $10,000, even though I was paying every single month. Welcome to Meta Economy Lab, where you can learn and understand more about the economy and related topics, so you can subscribe to the channel for continuous learning. 6 months earlier, my life looked stable on the surface. I had a steady income, decent credit, and no missed payments. My credit card statements arrived neatly each month, telling me everything was fine. Minimum payments were made, interest was charged, and nothing felt urgent. That calm appearance was the first trap, because the system is designed to feel safe while slowly pulling you under. To understand how this happened, we need to step back and look at how credit cards became such a powerful part of American life. In the decades after World War II, banks promoted credit as freedom. Spend now, pay later. Live better today. Over time, that idea became deeply rooted, especially as wages stopped growing as fast as living costs. By the 1980s and 1990s, credit cards were everywhere. Banks learned that the real profits were not in people who paid in full, but in people who carried balances. Interest rates climbed, fees multiplied, and minimum payments were engineered to keep balances alive as long as possible. That system didn't feel dangerous. It felt convenient. I didn't get into debt because of luxury or recklessness. It started with normal life expenses. A car repair here, a medical bill there, a few months of groceries during tight times. Each swipe felt small, but together they built a quiet mountain. The interest was invisible because it didn't hurt all at once. The first shocking realization came when I finally looked at my statements differently. I added up how much I was paying in interest alone. Hundreds of dollars were disappearing every month, not reducing the debt, just feeding it. It felt like pouring water into a bucket with a hole at the bottom. Banks rarely explain this clearly. Minimum payments are framed as responsible behavior, but they are designed to stretch debt across years or decades. At my rate, paying the minimum would have kept me trapped for more than 10 years. That was the moment denial broke. Historically, this is exactly how the system works. Credit card companies rely on behavioral patterns, not financial literacy. They know most people won't calculate payoff time. They know fear keeps people paying minimums instead of taking bold action. Debt thrives on confusion and delay. The second trap was emotional. Debt creates shame, and shame creates silence. I avoided opening statements, avoided talking about money, and avoided asking for help. That emotional weight is not accidental. The system benefits when people feel isolated instead of informed. The turning point came when I treated debt like an emergency instead of a background problem. I made a rule that nothing changed until the debt changed. No new purchases on credit. No pretending rewards would save me. The illusion of normalcy had to end before progress could begin. The first action was simple but uncomfortable. I listed every balance, every interest rate, and every minimum payment on paper. Seeing $10,000 written down felt heavier than any number on a screen, but clarity replaced fear. Now I knew what I was fighting. Next came a strategy most banks never promote aggressively: interest reduction. I contacted my card issuers directly. I asked for lower rates. I explained my situation calmly. Some refused. One agreed. That single reduction saved me hundreds over 6 months. The system doesn't advertise negotiation, but it works more often than people expect. I also explored balance transfer options carefully. 0% introductory offers can be powerful tools when used with discipline. The key is understanding that they are not relief unless paired with aggressive repayment. For me, one balance transfer created breathing room without creating new debt. At the same time, I changed my cash flow. I tracked every dollar coming in and going out, not with perfection, but with honesty. Small expenses that felt harmless were quietly costing hundreds each month. Subscription creep, impulse spending, and convenience fees all added up faster than expected. One of the hardest adjustments was lifestyle humility. I said no to outings, delayed upgrades, and accepted short-term discomfort. This is where many people quit. The system trains us to avoid discomfort, but debt only responds to pressure, not patience. I also found income leverage, not through extreme side hustles, but through temporary adjustments, extra shifts, selling unused items, and redirecting small windfalls straight to debt. Every extra dollar felt like removing a brick from a wall I had been staring at for years. Psychologically, momentum mattered more than math. Each thousand paid off changed how I felt. The debt went from a monster to a measurable opponent. Banks rely on slow progress to exhaust people. Speed creates confidence. Halfway through the 6 months, something unexpected happened. My stress dropped, not because the debt was gone, but because I was in control. That emotional shift is rarely discussed, yet it is one of the strongest tools in debt repayment. This is where history repeats itself. Financial systems profit when people feel powerless. Education flips that dynamic. The moment you understand the rules, the pressure shifts away from fear and toward action. Another hidden truth is that credit scores often improve during aggressive payoff, even if accounts are closed or balances shift. The myth that any change ruins credit keeps people frozen. In reality, reducing utilization is one of the fastest ways to improve financial standing. By month 5, the finish line was visible. What once felt impossible now felt inevitable. The same system that trapped me began to lose its grip, simply because I stopped playing by its passive rules. In the 6th month, I made the final payment. There was no fireworks, no applause, just silence. But that silence was freedom. No interest clock, no minimum due, no invisible drain on my future income. The bigger lesson came after the debt was gone. Credit cards themselves were not the enemy. Blind use was. These tools reward awareness and punish autopilot behavior. The danger is not debt alone, but ignorance combined with delay. Looking forward, credit card debt in America continues to grow. Rising living costs and high interest rates mean more people are entering the same cycle I escaped. The system has not changed, but awareness is spreading. The uncomfortable truth is that paying off debt fast requires urgency, clarity, and temporary sacrifice. There is no magic trick, but there is a repeatable pattern that works when followed with discipline. Here are the 3 lessons that matter most. First, minimum payments protect banks, not you. Second, clarity destroys fear faster than motivation ever will. Third, speed is power when escaping debt. The warning is simple but serious. If you treat debt as background noise, it will quietly shape your future. If you confront it directly, it loses its control. The choice arrives earlier than most people realize. If this story helped you see debt differently, like the video, share your experience in the comments, and subscribe to keep learning how economic systems really work and how to protect yourself inside them. Meta Economy Lab gives you new perspective to see and understand more about the economy and related topics, so you can subscribe to the channel for continuous learning.